Well, probably the most important trend for the carnival this year is the little crown or diadem thing a lot of the young girls are wearing. It's sort of crossed over from music festival trend where there's, wearing lots of flowers lined up in your hair, or symmetrical things actually is really quite strong this year.
And do you work with clients to design these pieces, or do they come to you and say, I want this particular style, or do you tend to stick with more what is in trend?
Well, I look at the person who's coming to me. What type of person are they? If they're a more sedate, less loud and out there type person, then I make something that's a little more sedate. If they're a truly out there mad type, then they get a truly out there mad hat.
So it's like a psychology test.
It is, yeah. Making hats is really a psychological thing because you get to know the person and you get to know what they like and what they don't like, and whether they're a nervous type or whether they're more outgoing. So it is, hats are a bit like being a psychologist in a way and a psychiatrist at the same time.
What's the most maddest hat that you've made?
I've made some pretty crazy ones in my time. Probably one of the maddest ones was for Milliner Richard Nylon, who's wonderful. And of course her manager Barry Humphries is fabulous too. But Edna wanted something that was mad and bright and colourful, very much like her. So I did all these little feather sunglasses or feather glasses that sort of zapped around her head and floated around like a flock of seagulls around the Arts Centre tower.
And did she bring the outfit in with her that she was going to wear?
Well, she said, Richard, I want something in cyclamen. So cyclamen it was.
We spoke about what's on trend for this season. Trends come and go. The fascinators have been fascinating for so many years.
They have.
Will we see the return of the traditional hat?
Look, there is a strong direction towards what's called a boater style, which is a very simple, in fact, I have one just here, funnily enough.
Very nice.
So that's a boater, just a very simple hat with, it looks like a kid's drawing at a hat. So there's a strong trend towards this sort of thing with the younger people. Look, it's very much a personal thing as well. Some people like very elaborate hats with lots going on. I prefer things that are perhaps more minimal, or there's one treatment but a lot of it.
Yep.
And the other thing that I have to mention as far as trends go is veiling. Veiling has been very strong this year. People used to consider it nana-ish. I always loved it. I love veiling, and when I used to suggest to people, they go, oh no, it's a bit nana. But this year, especially the younger girls are coming to me, I want lots of veiling.
And just finally, when it comes to different body types and shape faces, I'm sure there's a special piece for each person.
There is,
What
yes.
would you recommend for, say, someone, I'm quite small, smallish
you're
face.
petite.
What would you recommend for someone like me?
Okay, for you, you don't put anything enormous on you because it'll only, if you feel that you're small, it'll only make you look smaller.
Yep.
And you're not the tallest person on earth. You're not short.
No, not really.
But if you want a little bit of height, then we put a little bit of height in. Nothing wider than your shoulders ever in a hat, because especially at the races you'll be bumped and thumped and things. And the other thing I like to do too, if it's a brimmed hat, I always like to put white underneath the brim to make sure the light reflects on the face. Otherwise it can be like, like you're peeping out from underneath the veranda. So that's another hint I can give. So
And we know how important that is for the photos that everybody will be taking.
Because I actually say to people, especially with the celebs and stuff, I say, okay, well, I'm not going to do something with too wide a brim because you'll need to be seen from every angle.
Yep.
And that's something to consider as well. What is the person doing in that hat?
Shall we have a little play?
Yes, indeed. Well, because you're wearing the blue and the red, and it's a lovely silk fabric. I have a beautiful silk flower here. This is a hand-painted one, and it's quite lovely. See that? It gives you a bit of height. It's not too big. It's about how you wear it too.
Yeah.
Like some people just wear the piece with great gusto, and other people you'll put a hat on them, they'll sort of shrink underneath it.
What do you think? For a little bit of madness.